Uncle Luke is running for mayor.
Running for mayor of Miami-Dade County. Ain't that something? How we evolve. We get old and we run for mayor.
Well, I think it's funny to a lot of people because, you know, you've always been informally the mayor of Miami. So
Yeah.
At what point did it really become something that you wanted to seriously pursue? Like, did it just hit you one day, like I could actually run for mayor, or?
Well, now, I mean, you know, I've always been involved in the community. And I always did work in the community, you know what I'm saying, as far as making sure the programs that I founded, like Liberty City Optimists and other programs, you know, for kids are getting the benefits from the county, as well as you know, the different other programs as far as the seniors and all that. You know, I work closely with them and dealing with politicians on a consistent basis. So, you know, when you're dealing with them, you expect them to do certain things. And lately, a lot of them haven't been fulfilling the promises.
Decided to run out of frustration that some of the officials weren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I mean, when you look at the community, I mean, you see people, innocent kids getting killed, you know, shot. We got 8 kids, and I mean, that has gotten murdered. You know, kids as well as grown people. And the bottom line is, you know, you look at government and they're not really doing anything about it. You know, and then you see the situation with the housing department. You know, the housing department gets taken over by the federal government. The transit department gets taken over by the federal government. These are things that like directly affect the community.
Just 1 second, you a couple, please, sir. Just 1 second.
And you know, it just frustrates you to know that these things are happening. And then, you know, I got a voice. You know, I've been beating the doors down from dealing with Kendrick Meeks to Oscar Brainer, you name it, Dorothy Mendengoff from the school board.
And so this isn't a regular mayor election, right? This is like a special.
Yeah, this is a special election because the mayor got recalled. You know, because of the things that he was doing. I mean, what he did was he raised the taxes 14%, and then after raising the taxes 14%, he gave everybody a raise. You know, and that's just disrespectful to the people. Then at the same time, you got all these departments that have been taken over by the federal government because they misappropriated those funds. And so when I look at it, you know, I look at it as, you know, these departments that have been taken over. I mean, you got transit. They got all of a sudden $180 million is missing. You know, how could you miss $180 million? I mean, when you had no transparency in the government. So, you know, and those affordable housing grant dollars are supposed to go to people within these lower income communities. So, you know, I got between the killings and the deaths and the way the government is treating people, I just got frustrated and said, look, you know, I'm familiar with politics, local politics as well as national politics. I'm always on the front, you know, raising awareness of people going out to vote. And, you know, helping people with their campaign when it comes to getting young people to vote. So I'm like, yo, I might as well get out there and do it myself.
So you mentioned earlier that running for mayor is similar to being on a promo tour. Like, what are some of the similarities between, you know, campaigning as a rapper and campaigning as a politician? I mean,
campaigning it's just like I said, it's similar to a promotional tour because you have to go door to door, shake hands, kiss babies. You know, it's almost like, you know, going to an in-store. You go to an in-store, is, you know, doing the forum. You know, at the end of the forum, you talk about the product, you talk about yourself. And then you sign autographs. Unfortunately, I'm the only one that's signing the autographs and taking the pictures. Nobody else don't want to see the other candidates. That's the fun part about it. But at the same time, it's grueling. You know, you gotta going to different forums, you're speaking on different panels. But the entertainment business helped me out with that because I've always been a person that goes do a lot of different panels, speak. You know, and even when I, you know, went to the Supreme Court, I was politically motivated. So knowing the landscape of politics and how it works, and then people don't know I'm a political junkie. You know, 2 things I love is football and politics. So you know, it makes it a little easy with me because the fact that I've been debating the issue of free speech, because I am the champion of free speech, and debating different issues. I can go and debate with anybody.
So have you been challenged a lot on the, I guess, on the moral side of things? I mean, being that you did come from that background of, you know, Doo-Doo Brown and, you know, Me So Horny and all that, like, have you had a lot of flack from church groups and stuff like that?
Not necessarily, because people in this community, they know me. You know, they know what's happening. They know me from the standpoint of what I did, you know, and who I am. They saw me raised up in this community as a little DJ running around the park. You know, I meet people right now on the campaign trail that knows me when I was in diapers. You know, hanging out at the beauty salon where my mom used to work on 15th Avenue. So, you know, they know me and where I came from, and they know the family. I mean, I come from a family, you know, 2-bedroom house. You know, grew up in Liberty City and 4 brothers. And we all work, you know, from a daddy that's Jamaican and a mama that's Bahamian, that's from here. And when they see our family, they know we're a working class family, you know, and all our brothers did things with themselves in life. You know, 2 physics majors and 1 psychologist, and then you got me. You know, so, you know, as far as the moral issues, you know, I don't get it. Really, because of the fact that these people know who I am. You know, it hasn't come up no time on the campaign trail. Only time it comes up is when the press asks the question, but it's normally national press that asks that. You know, the local press, they'll mention it. They'll mention how good a guy who did these songs become mayor, and then I basically explain it. Hey, look, I was young. You know, just like everybody else. You know, I was a freshman, almost equivalent to being a freshman in college. I had my fun, you know, I made my songs, I defended, and I'm happy that it was me, because I was the one that went to the Supreme Court to protect the right for artists to be able to do what they want to do on records, and because I think anybody else would have did it. But, you know, at the end of the day, they know who I am. I'm all grown up, and I think I can serve the community well.
Well, with that said, I mean, obviously you're an intelligent guy. I mean, you could have gone into politics back at that time. Like, do you feel like a lot of artists? I think people have this perception like artists are dumb, but then you have people like yourself running for mayor. You have Bun B, you know, teaching a college course. Do you feel like artists have to dumb themselves down to sell records, or, you know, why would you go that route when you are an intelligent guy and you could have done anything with your career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, I think I was predestined to do this. You know, because of the things that I went through in life. You know, my first time going through something political was when I was DJing in the park, African Square Park, and we were playing the music, and the police, they had this guy named Butler, and he used to go around harassing everybody. He used to go take all the drug dealers' drugs, and their money never turned in, never put nobody in jail. And he came to the park one day, all you niggas get out of this park here. And then I was like, nah, there ain't no niggas down here. And then it became a big riot. And at that point, we had to go downtown, talk to the community relations board and all those different things. So that's when I really got into politics. And I understood how politics worked. And I understood propaganda at that time. Like I say, you know, all the artists, when you look at the artists in my era, they always been community oriented. You know, from the KRS-Ones to the Dougie Freshes, you know, you name it, Ice Cubes of the world, Snoop Dogg, they have always been involved in something community oriented, whether it's politics or helping out the community. And that's what I am. So I've always been a guy on leading the path on the forefront, you know, with being the first hip hop artist, the owner operates his own record company in the South, you know, starting the whole movement, and you know, and first to go to the Supreme Court, only one, and at the same time, you know, this is something that I think will start another movement, you know.
So you feel like rappers are politicians themselves?
Yeah, we have to be politicians because we're always under attack. I mean, this is the only music that's always under attack, and it's politically motivated because, you know, whether it's a county telling kids not to wear their pants and sagging, you know, putting in law and provisions. you know, saying the music or the lyrics have always been on the attack. I mean, my first attacks came from Tipper Gore, you know, Al Gore's wife. So all that's politics. You gotta understand the political process when you have a politician that powerful. At that time, that was a senator's wife coming after you with a whole generation of people. You gotta understand the political backlash to that, because at the same time you're gonna have different municipalities coming after you. You know, so I understood that. I knew how it worked.
Do you think politics is becoming more like a popularity contest? I mean, even you have Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, Jesse Ventura. Like, do you think we'll see a lot more public figures running for office?
I think I mean, those public figures, they were some of the best politicians. I mean, you know, Jesse the Body Ventura, he probably one of the only ones that really didn't do a good job. I mean, you can go back far as Ronald Reagan. You know, Ronald Reagan was an actor turned president. You know, you got Sonny Bono. You know, you got Johnson, who's the mayor of Sacramento. He's a basketball player right now. You know, so I mean, it's something that, you know, Tom Osborne in Nebraska. It's something that's always been going on from the beginning of time. It's just the fact that, you know, it's not a problem, because what you have is you have actors, celebrities, or whatever it may be, athletes, that they're part of the political process. You know, we all are concerned about our community. At the end of the day, I mean, you can be whatever you are. You know, you worrying about the taxes. You know what I'm saying? You worrying about whether or not they got kid programs. And you should be worrying about the situation that's going on in your community. Other than that, your property value will go down, or you just see innocent kids getting killed. So, you know, that's why it becomes important for people to be a part of the process.
Well, you mentioned, you know, funds being misappropriated and stuff like that, and I know in the history of Luke Records there were some, you know, financial troubles and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's something that, did you learn a lot through that process that you feel like you'd be able to apply as mayor?
Yeah, I learned, of course. I mean, you know, when my catalog was stolen, you know, in my opinion, by my lawyer, you know, one thing I always did in the record is in the industry is I always depended on people. You know, I always gave people responsibility, and I think it's important to depend on people. You know, at the same time, you dot your I's and cross your T's, and you can't play the role of lawyer, you can't play the role of accountant. If that happens, then you find yourself in serious trouble with the IRS or the federal government in that manner. So you hire people and you give them the job, you give them the responsibility. If they steal from you, they steal from you. You know, either you can get them put in jail or you can't get them put in jail because of the system. You learn. You know, I learned a lot of things. I learned, you know, and that's what makes me fit for this job. I learned how to deal with certain people. I can see through a person. I can see, you know, good people and bad people. Some people fool me. You know, we all gonna get fooled, but that's what happens when you get old. When you get older and you get wiser, and you're not as naive as you were before. And you have a tendency of, you know, learning people a lot better. So along the way, you know, we all pay for our mistakes. I paid for a lot of my mistakes, but when I look at it, you know, I look at, you know, the landscape, and I look at the people that I supported. I look at just this industry down here as far as the music industry and the people that are working in it. And I say, when I look at it around and I look at, you know, knowing the fact that there was no industry here as far as music, and I look around at all these different record companies and look at some of the artists that are very successful, and I say, man, I did good. You know what I'm saying? I trained this guy, trained that guy, trained this guy, and I did good. You know, I look at, you know, all these. I look at Circle House Studio. I just, you know, saw BB just a while ago. His daughter goes to school with my son goes to school, and I look at him and I told my wife, he was the same size as my son when I first saw him. You know what I'm saying? At his dad's studio, when they were in a warehouse in Hollywood when we used to record, and nobody was in there. And through hard work and dedication, his parents, as you know, passed on the business to him, and look where they're at right now. You know, so I look at all those different things and say, through what we've done and what we've accomplished in this business here in Miami as well as the entire South, you know, if we did not do that, then where would we be? So, you know, again, along the way, you're going to make some mistakes and you're going to do some good things, and the majority of it, I got more good than I got bad. So I really don't, you know, I'm not a materialistic person. You know, it don't matter. You know, I think people, when you steal from people, you suffer more, because if you're holding on to something that you know you didn't work for, and you know that you stole or you connived your way of getting, you would feel more pain holding on to that than you have. So I'm at peace. You know, they can steal all they want because I'm not a materialistic person.
Gotcha. Well, you mentioned some of the programs that you plan on implementing. I know you're involved now with youth football, and like what are some of the other, for people that aren't from Miami and may not be familiar, what are some of the community, you know, programs that you plan on implementing that you already have?
Yeah, I always had a youth football program. You know, Liberty City Optimists. I started like 27 years ago. This year be our 27th year, and that program is for little girls and little boys. You know, it's mostly about football, but it's year-round sports. It's basketball, football. And then we have tutoring programs that we always had. I never did like most other artists by publicizing it, putting it on TV and all that, because it all was done from the heart. You know, in the same program, we have a senior citizen program within that. In that program, that we, you know, all the kids, you know, they donate time working with the seniors, you know, and we share space. Right now, we just got a building built that'll be open this year. One building, and then we get another additional building built. And the same thing we're doing there, we're doing overtime. We're duplicating the efforts, and that's working with working with city government. Those are things that you gotta go do, and we've been doing it for over the last 5 years, working on this project. As far as the other programs, I mean, you know, in the different communities, I mean, we have another youth league where we work in conjunction with the Orange Bowl Committee, where we have about 6,000 kids in my youth league, where they go year-round again. You know, we get the funding from the Orange Bowl Committee. All the funds go directly to the different programs, whether in Broward County or Miami, and that's something that I'm proud of. You know, and you know, it's a lot of work, but it's for the good.
Has there been any tangible, like say, decrease in crime or anything like that that's been tied into, you know, some of the programs that you implement?
During the seasonal time, say for instance, just take football season. During football season time, most parents, most communities come together. They're all on these different parks and everything. And these people the crime rate is definitely down. You know, the reason why I'm running for mayor is we have to get the police more involved in the local programs. We have to get the police more involved in being much more of a community servant. You know, when we started the program 27 years ago, it was police, bus drivers, transit workers, all different types of people from all walks of life, you know, participating in these different programs. So there was a community relationship between the police and the community. We gotta get back to that, you know, and that's why, like I said, that's why I'm running. We gotta get back to the things that we did before as a community, and we haven't been doing that lately.
For mayor, have you toned down your, you know, Luke the artist? Are you still moonlighting and, you know, hosting strip clubs and stuff like that, or do you have to kind of step away from that? I
mean, well, you know, I go to different. I still host different events, you know what I'm saying? But as far as concerts, I don't do too many concerts. I've been kind of cooled off on the concert. A lot of people ask me to do them. A lot of people ask me to do these old school tours and things. But I'm more focused on the political side of it. I think this is big. This is major. It's very important because, like right now, we got a governor that's trying to privatize prisons. If you privatize prisons, you got to put somebody in jail. Being that this is the largest municipality in the state of Florida, you know, he needs this municipality to get some of those things passed. And then, I mean, me being a strong mayor, I control the police chief.
So why are you against privatizing the prison system?
Because if you privatize them, then you got to put people in jail. Then the special interest groups, a special interest group and lobbyists own the prison. Same situation they had, I think it was in Minnesota or Cleveland, where they privatized the prison. Before you know it, they started locking up every kid. And there was a story probably about a month ago where a kid got locked up just for something stupid. Because you can go to jail for 6 months for spitting on the ground.
Well, Texas is privatized, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that similar? You see similar problems in the Texas
major
system?
problems. I'm just using that city for example. I mean, a kid did something. I mean, he skipped school and they gave him like 6 months, and he had a opportunity to go to Harvard or somewhere, and then the kid got put in jail and he lost his scholarship. And he ended up blowing his head off because he was depressed about going to jail and ended up in that situation. So they ended up, the long story short, ended up all these different judges who are part of this scam and putting people in jail. Because when you do that, it's about money now. Privatize the prison, you become a dollar. You know that you're gonna get X amount of dollars from the federal government for housing that prison. So the lobbyists that work for the companies that privatize the prisons, they're gonna go lobby the police sheriff, the chief of police, and they go and lobby the judges. The judges and the police chief, in some situations, need funding to fund their campaign. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna then support these guys. So that's the bad part about privatizing prisons, you know. And then you got the same situation with the schools. They try to make all these schools charter schools, so they need South Florida to be a part of that. And that's why it becomes more and more important. It becomes serious, and I mean, it's just so many issues that could be really solved by me being the mayor. You know, there's so many issues that can be easily solved if you got the right guy, the right guy to do that.
Well, you're talking about the governor of Florida now. Let's say that you do get elected as mayor. Are you planning on, like, do you see politics as being something that you want to go all the way to the top with? If you succeed as mayor, are you thinking about taking it even further? Or
well, I don't know where. I mean, I don't know where. I don't know where it's taking me. I'm more a community guy. You know, I'm more of a person that's really worried about my community. I worry about the entire South, but I think the entire South is all right. Being the governor of the state, you know, it would have to be, you know, something that just takes me. I mean, the man upstairs directly, but I gotta go here anyway. You know, and so sometimes I wake up in the morning like, what am I doing? You know, what's gonna happen on the 24th when they say, yeah, you're the mayor. You know, I know I'm gonna go to work at the same time, but I'm just guided by the man upstairs, wherever he takes me at. I mean, if the state of Florida gets in as bad a shape as Dade County, yeah, I probably end up running for governor.
So you're more concerned about your community than having a political career? That's not really the motivation?
Yeah. It ain't about a political career. I ain't trying to become the president of the United States of America or nothing like that. It ain't.
You think Barack is doing a good job?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, my campaign is similar to his. I mean, when he first came out, he didn't have none of the support of the preachers and the support of the traditional. You know, I got support by pastors, but support by the traditional politicians. I don't have that. You know, they're supporting other people. You know, because they're already bought and paid for by the special interest groups in the lobbyists. So I don't have that support. So my campaign is similar to his. I mean, he was a community servant. They question whether or not he can lead or be a politician because he was the leader of his community. Same thing with me. They question the same thing. So I'm happy that I'm in good company with him. I think he's doing an excellent job. You know, and I think I'll be able to do a good job. Because, again, same thing. He didn't take no special interest group money neither.
So you have a lot of people cracking jokes like, Uncle Luke is going to start taxing the strippers and, stuff like that.
That ain't no joke.
That's not a joke?
No, it's not a joke at all. I mean, when you look at, I am going to tax the strippers, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because Miami, Miami and Fort Lauderdale is the only city in America right now that does not tax the strippers and does not ask the strippers to get a license.
Well, the strippers are your friends, right?
Yeah,
aren't they angry with you for that?
No.
They're not? They're supporting it?
No, they're supporting it. I mean, when you think of it, most exotic dancers go around the country dancing. They know the deal. You know what I'm saying? They know the fact that if you're in Atlanta, you got to pay $375 to dance. You got to get a license. You know, and they know.
What is that? A one-time fee or per year, or how does that work?
In Atlanta, I think it's per city. I think it's a one-time fee. But when you look at the amount of money that's generated by exotic dancers in Atlanta, I mean, last year was over
We gonna celebrate and have a good time, yeah.
So you feel like you feel like financially it would be a good move?
No, let me tell you, when you can generate 200, when you can
All right, we'll start the question over. So I hear you're going to tax the strippers.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't no joke. I mean, the thing is, like I say, this is the only city outside of Fort Lauderdale in the United States of America where dancers do not have to get a license and they're not getting taxed, you know, by getting that license. And I think it's important to do that because when you look at a city like Atlanta, they generated over $230 million last year in the exotic dance and entertainment industry. We need that money here, and at the same time, it prevents underage dancing. Right now, you go to a strip club, and a man don't even know. If you don't know how old that girl is, and it's still your job and your responsibility to know how old she is. There's a lot of underage dancing going on in a lot of these clubs. I mean, there was a news organization that did a survey, and they found, like, you know, in every club, at least 2 or 3 girls 16 years old dancing in these clubs. And so without the checks and balance at that, you don't know what's happening. And at the same time, you know, I talked to the dancers, and I told them, you know, most of them come from out of town, so it's not a new thing for them. It's not something that, oh, you're doing something that they don't do nowhere in the country. You know, they respect that. The best thing I could do with that money is I could set it aside and put it into programs for little girls and little boys, and that's what I'm gonna do. A portion of that money, and then the other portion of that money is gonna go toward lowering taxes and keeping people in jobs. I mean, next year, there's a shortfall of $400 million in this county government. $230 million from stripper tax going toward that. You're finding out where that $180 million dollars that they lost from the transit department, and the other $200 million, the taxes just got lowered.
So when you say $230 million, that's not all from licensing fees. That's like income tax as well.
That's licensing fees from taxes and everything. And then the beautiful part about it, you know what happens? The dancer becomes the stripper. The dancer becomes a vendor, and so they're actually running a business. So in running a business, no matter what kind of business it is, you incorporate it yourself. And now your money is not like dope dealer money where you can't go to the bank. You can go to the bank, hey, I have a license, I'm a vendor, you know.
So you feel like it legitimizes them?
It legitimizes them, you know what I mean? They then pay taxes, and at the same time they become a business. Never know. They could probably then ask for loans or whatever, you know, on their business because their business generates so much income, you know, and that's what it's all about, legitimizing.
Well, you don't find it slightly ironic that, you know, the guy who created Two Live Crew, now you're cracking down on underage dancers and whatnot in clubs?
No, I don't find it ironic because I'm the same guy that created the parental advisory sticker. You know, I'm a responsible person. I mean, at no time, no given time in the world that I wanted kids to be listening to Two Live Crew songs. So I did something about it. When I got that first call from them parents, PTA in Alabama, 20-some years ago in 1986, and they say these kids are getting this the dirty song. Then I came up and created that sticker, put it on the records, and now I call up all the record stores around the country and say, look here, sell the sticker version to the adults and the non-sticker version to the kids. I'm always going to be responsible, and at the same time, that's why I got, I don't have no problem with dancing. I go to the strip club all day. I got no problem with that. But at the same time, I don't want to see no little girl up in there stripping, and then you never know. I mean, the way the laws are right now, if you participate in that, it ain't no matter of whether or not you know or not. If you are caught in the presence of a minor dancing at a strip club, you can go to jail, and then you get put on the pedophile list. A lot of people don't know that.
But let's say that, just for the sake of argument, let's say there's a 17-year-old stripper that's trying to survive. You don't look at it as her fighting for her freedom the same way that you fought for your rights and went to the Supreme Court?
She's still a minor. Till you're 18 years old, you're not a minor anymore. She's a minor. And not in the United States of America. She's a minor. She can't even go to war. She can't even buy a beer. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, my campaign is about me helping the community and helping people. Whatever my kids or anybody say bad about me, I mean, that's what I fought. I fought for that right, free speech. And I tell people all the time, I love all my kids. If they have the right for their own opinion, and I really truly believe my kids love me the same way I love them. But they have their right to their opinion. If they feel that they got to speak out against me in any manner, that's on them. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that can't be a positive thing to be running for office and have your kids saying
the Bible says, the Bible says you have to respect your parents or bad things that happen to you. So, I say, like I say, I love my kids, and my kids have their opinion. If they want to get on, if they want to get on World Star, whatever kind of star, Ozone or whatever, and talk bad about their dad, then the old people know. I mean, any responsible people, you know what I'm saying, and that's why I kind of I question some of the motives of some of these publications to do things like that. For the sake of publicizing their publication. Some things should remain private in parents and families and all that. Because when I looked at those things, I only looked at a brief bit of it. I never looked at the whole entire piece. I just looked at the picture, then I looked down. And the part, I don't care what people say bad about me, because I've been either said good about me or bad about me. At the same time, I know who my mama raised. But what was the hurting part of it is to look down and look and see the comments you see these long list of comments of people attacking my children for doing that. And like I said, I really question these publications for doing that. If that's how they're gonna make their money, blow their website up on the sake of kids, condoning kids being disrespectful to their parents, that's hardcore.
So are you back on good terms with your kids?
I'm always on good terms with my kids. My kids have their difference of opinions, just like I did with my parents. My parents, I had, I didn't like some of the things they did. They said to me, you know what I'm saying? But as I got older, right now I'm happy they said a lot of things. I'm happy I got my butt beat. I got scars right now, from my dad. And I got put in check by my mom on many occasions. When you get older in life, you have a tendency of saying, wow. And then you find yourself saying the same thing to your kids. So that's what's the sad part about it, that publications would play games with kids like that when they know doggone well that they were a kid, and they should not play any roles in and gassing that up, because that's sad. That's sad for adults and these publications who do that. That's very, very sad, because these kids nowadays, kids are kids. The things that they say right now, just like the things that I said when I was 17 years old, I wouldn't dare say those things. I wouldn't feel that way, because once I became an adult, I know better now. And for publications and people and all these blogs and all that want to play into that and have fun with that, they got to answer to God. At the end of the day, they're going to have to answer to God, because one thing about that man upstairs, he don't like you playing with them kids. And when you do that, you're going to have to really answer to him in some shape, form, or fashion. And I that's what I do. I always leave it in the hands of him, saying, hey, look, you know what? At the end of the day, you just do not use kids in that manner. And when people do that, I don't think they're gonna have good luck in their life.
Well, changing topics a little bit, we talked about the $400 million shortfall. I know with Miami in particular, you look back at Cocaine Cowboys, or even a fictional movie like Scarface, and you see how, cocaine has actually been a large stimulant in the economy in Miami, if that would be fair to say. So what are some other, you mentioned the stripper tax, like what are some other legal ways that you feel like, you can stimulate growth in Miami without...
one of my other, on my platform is legalizing medical marijuana. I think that's important, because, people, 17 other states have legalized it. California, they made $1 billion off of medical marijuana. That's one of the I looked at that city and that state, and I said, okay, that's something, that'll help people. I mean, you got large amount of people with AIDS, large amount of people with cancer, and that is something that doctors prescribe to them. I don't see why it's a problem. I mean, a lot of these people are leaving, going to move to these different states, so that they can get the prescription of legalizing prescription of marijuana. So I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with
So can marijuana be legalized in one county without the whole state approving of it?
Yeah. And then I don't see a problem with putting on the ballot. I don't see a problem with putting on the ballot. I don't see a problem putting on the ballot casino gambling for the hotels on the waters. Still,
Don't they do that already?
No.
On the water? They don't have ships?
No. On the ships, they have to go to international water. I'm talking about like hotels on the beach. Like hotels on the...
anything on Ocean Drive? And
yeah, hotels.
You want them to be able to have casinos?
Yeah, the existing hotels, not go and build no... not build some grand casino, nothing like that, because what happens when you build like that, when you go to places like Atlantic City and Vegas, they're building these major casinos, and then the major casino has everything in it. So all the businesses around it suffer. They don't make any money.
But how do you say you can open a casino, but you can't open a big casino? I mean, where do you draw the line?
You can open a casino in existing hotels that you have right now, and then you restrict.
So there would be no new construction allowed.
Well, you can have new construction. You can beautify your place, but you ain't gonna build no. You minimize the amount of businesses that they have in there. You say, okay, fine. I got a hotel. Okay, I got a restaurant in the hotel. I got this in the hotel. Okay, fine. Your existing structure, you can't add on any other additional things that's going to affect, around you. It's about bringing jobs, yeah. It's about stimulating the economy, but at the same time, we ain't trying to hurt no small business people. If it's about that, when you look at Hard Rock Casino is the #1 money-generating casino in the United States of America, even over everything in Vegas. They generate more money than anybody at Hard Rock Casino. So when you look at that, that's all the people in South Florida going there. Whether you're from Broward, Hollywood, or wherever, you go in there enjoying that casino. So, that money is stayed on the reservation. I think you know, it should be put to the voters. You know, I may believe in it, you know, for stimulating the economy, but I would not impose that on people who may not want that, you know.
So the election is May 24th.
May 24th.
And what makes you the best man for the job? What's your final pitch to the voters of Miami?
What makes me the best person in the job? Because I'm a community servant. You got to be a community servant first. You got to serve the community. And I've been doing that, like I said, over 30 years. It ain't like I just started this. I got vision. You know, when you're able to have the vision to say, you know what, as a young man, I'm gonna start a hip hop record company in the South, and it's gonna springboard all the other Southern companies to start their own record companies in the South. And look at us right now, you know, and that's something I'm proud of. And at the same time, I had a vision to be able to look at Miami and say, you know, in the next 10, 20 years, we're going to be, you know, the dominant force in the entertainment industry. You know, first person to own, African American to own a nightclub on South Beach. When they wouldn't even let people on South Beach, you had to be on South Beach at 6 o'clock. You know, own a club in how I live. You know, start a teen disco. You know, for so many kids, start programs. I mean, that's what I've been doing in my community for years before, you know, I got on the national stage. So I think I'm the best person for the job. No, I know I'm the best person for the job. Ain't no question about it. And then, like I say, I mean, you know, I'm gonna create 20,000 jobs in my first year because I got vision. You gotta have vision to be able to implement some things that take the county forward. And the other candidates, I'm sorry, but they don't have any vision. Their whole thing is about corruption. Corruption. They want to steal money. They want to steal for the poor, give it to the rich, and take advantage of people and keep people oppressed and keep just robbing the society of its the rich things that we have.
So for people that may want to, you know, read more about your campaign, do you have a website or where can they?
I mean, if you want to know more about my campaign, go to www.luke4mayor.com and you can volunteer. You can make a donation. You can read more about the platform and enjoy it. I mean, we're gonna make history. That's what it's all about, making history. And then if you see some of your rapper friends running around Miami who's enjoying our sunny beaches, the Puff Daddies and Lil Waynes of the world, tell them if they don't get involved in the political process in Miami, they'll be the first person I run out of town.
Vote or die?
Vote or go back home where you come from.